Today, you're going to be doing a strategy called Observe, Reflect, Question. And this strategy is used to help you to analyze. And analyze means to study images. So make sure that before you complete this portion of the assignment that you've already completed your activator on the previous page. So you'll click right here for your notes. And it'll take you to a page where you make your own copy. Now, your notes are just simply for you to have. They are guided notes, so that means there are parts that are not filled in. There are blanks that you'll need to fill in simply by looking at the presentation below. So this is the presentation. So why do we need to study or analyze images? So images play a very important role in our lives today, now so more than ever, especially with the invention of our smartphone cameras. So imagine how different our world would be without images. So types of images include paintings, photographs, political cartoons, and artifacts. So, how do you interpret historical images? So, how do you make sense of images that are from the past? And so, in order to do that, we observe, reflect, and we question. So, when you observe, you make observations simply about what you see in the picture. So, you're looking at what you see in the picture and you're just writing it down. It's sort of like an investigator would do when he's at a crime scene. He's just simply writing down what he notices, what he sees. When you reflect on an image, you're basically asking yourself questions on the why of the image. And then when you question, you're just writing down anything that you still have questions about, anything that you're still wondering about, anything that you don't understand. When you're using this chart on any activities that we have pictures for, you do not have to do the observe, reflect, question in any particular order. You can do the questions before you do the observation, the reflection before you do the observation as well. So there's no order in which you have to do this. So what do you do once the chart is done? So the chart is going to help you to answer any questions that you may have, or if you have to write a summary, it will help you to be able to do that. So when you observe an image, you are basically asking yourself certain questions. What do you notice first when you look at the image? Find something small but interesting in the image and write that down. What do you notice that you didn't expect? What do you notice that you can't explain? What do you notice that you didn't notice earlier? And so again, when you observe an image, you're simply writing down what you see. When you reflect on an image, you're basically thinking, where did this image come from? Why do you think someone made this image? What do you think was happening when this image was made? So you're asking yourself these questions and you're writing it down. Who do you think the audience for this item was? And when we talk about an audience, who were the intended people meant to see this image? And then at the end, if you have any questions that you still wonder about, then that's where you write down the questions that you still wonder about. Any questions that maybe you that hadn't been answered. So think about the who, what, when, where, why, and how. Okay, so let's do one together. So we're going to do this first picture together. And so I'm going to walk you through basically how to do this. So when I observe, I'm just simply putting what I see in the image. So I'm going to talk it out. So what I see in this image is I see a lady and I see two small children, and the two small children have their head on this lady. Their faces are turned away from the camera. The lady kind of has her hand on her chin, it looks like. She's looking out, but not directly at the camera. Their clothing look not there. It's not clean. You can tell that the clothing is not clean. You can tell that there's some tatter in the clothing, like they're torn. They're not very well put together. And it looks like she has some worry lines up here. So if you look at her forehead, it looks like worry lines. And so now I'm going to do the reflection piece. So where do I think this image came from? It looks like an image from, it looks like an older image that was made that shows, maybe I'm thinking this lady is a mother because the kids seem very comfortable on her. And she doesn't seem to mind at all. She looks like she's holding a baby in her hand. That's something I didn't see before. So you see the baby. I didn't even see the baby at first, and the baby's sleeping. And so it looks like this mother maybe is a mother who doesn't have a lot of money. They look to be in poverty. I'm thinking that this image was made to showcase living conditions of poor people in a particular time period, maybe the Great Depression, I'm assuming. Um, I'm thinking what's happening is they're somewhere and maybe they're outside, I'm thinking. So maybe I'm thinking they don't have anywhere to go. That's why she's looking out and the kids are kind of on her and she's holding the baby in her hand. Maybe they're outside with nowhere to go. The audience, who do I think was intended to see this picture? Um maybe wealthier people, to show how people living in poverty, how they are suffering. Maybe that's who the intended audience was for. Maybe the government, to show, hey, this is how people are living. People need help. This is a mother in distress. So maybe that's who the intended audience was. Questions that I still have. Why are they outside? Maybe. Why don't they have clean clothes? I'm thinking, why are the boys looking down and away from the camera? Is something going on that they don't want to see? So those are some questions that I still have. Okay, so that's an example of how you do that. Now I'm going to compare my findings. So I think this is a mother with her children. They're in a very poor environment. They don't look like they have much, looking at their clothing. She also has a baby in her hand that I didn't see before, right here. And so let's see, let's compare what I find. Oh, migrant mother. So she is a mother. So March 1936, migrant mother. In March 1936, during the height of the Great Depression, so it was taken during the Great Depression, photographer Dorothea Lange came across a camp of 2,500 destitute campers and snapped this photo. Known as Migrant Mother, the photo came to define America's Great Depression era. So it is during the Great Depression era, and it is a mother, and they do not have a lot. So if you know anything about the Great Depression, lots of people lost their wealth, and so she is a mom who's in distress, and they are actually at a camp. So maybe they are outside. All right, so then you're going to go through and you're going to do reflect on your accuracy. How accurate were you? All right, so you're going to go through and do the others. So I want you to start with this one and work your way through. If you have any questions, please email me. You will then do an observe, reflect question activity on your own, and then you will turn that into Canvas when you finish. So that will be on the next page, which is the ORQ evaluation. So this is about the 9/11 terrorist attack. So you're going to be looking at images and doing an observe, reflect question about that. Make sure you hit the submit button when you finish, and please do not change the name of the assignment. Do not make your own copy, because if you do that, it will not allow you to turn it in. Okay? All right.